It's been over 4.5 years that US and Israel attacked Iran unprovokedly, and since then the war has not ended. There were talks of peace, however, it did not come at all. USA started attacking Iran, and Iran is also now attacking not USA directly, but the countries or their vessels, which the countries which harbor US's missiles. Those countries are being attacked by Iran if they are passing through the Strait of Hormuz. And that's exactly what happened when Iran attacked UAE vessels, and it has now led to a death of an Indian crew member. So the Indian crew member has been killed as the Iranian missiles struck UAE's two oil tankers. So again, this is in news. The Strait Hormuz is in news. Right, so let us first understand what the news is all about. So it is about the two UAE oil tankers. The names are Mombasa and Al Bahia. Maybe UPSC may ask you the name, not much probable. However, where did this incident occur? It occurred in the Omani territorial waters. These are part of Strait of Hormuz. Very important places. Our news is very important for prelims. Now, in this attack, what has happened is one Indian crew member has been killed. Apart from that, 8 have been injured. Now, UAE, of course, termed it as a grave violation of the international law, which, of course, it is. It is a violation, right? But then Iran would argue that this is what is happening with me, so this is what I'm reacting. But is it a international violation? Definitely it is. Right, now this incident comes when USA is basically escalating the US Iran confrontation. So that would be the argument given by Iran, that it is United States of America that is increasing the confrontation. So what should I do if I am a smaller player, a weaker player? What can I do about it? But at the end of it all, whether US attacks Iran or Iran attacks US, lives are being lost. And the people, ironically, the people who are taking the decision are safe, right? They are not at the forefront fronts. It's the frontline soldiers, it's the civilians, it's the people who are simply doing their jobs and earning their bread are basically losing their lives. But the people who are deciding this, the people who are hell-bent to not bring in peace, are safe, are probably in the safest places possible. Right, so this is what the news. Let's understand more in detail. Before that, an important announcement with respect to new batches that are starting at Legacy IS Academy, where you will be taught by the experts faculty of UPSC. The new batches for regular batch starts on 3rd August, then 7th September and November. So this probably is the right time for you to start. For weekend batch, especially for working professionals and college going aspirants, again a batch starts in August, that is 8th, and then October and December. If you enroll, there are many advantages. Some of them are listed here for your reference. Comprehensive completion of the syllabus, very important, a maximum size of only 40 students, daily mains answer writing practice, prelims as well as mains test series, and a 360-degree approach for current affairs, wherein the entire week's current affairs is taught in live classes. Not just that, the game changer is the one-on-one mentorship and doubt solving that you will get from the faculties themselves. So if you want to enroll, you can simply scan it, download the app, enroll yourself, or call on these numbers for enrollment. Let's continue now with the news. So let's understand the importance of Strait of Hormuz. So importance and analysis will help you for mains, but the location is very important for prelims. So this here that you can see is the Strait of Hormuz. Now it's surrounded by Gulf of Oman on one side, Persian Gulf on one side, and this is Strait of Hormuz. This here is the Arabian Sea, this is UAE, this is Oman, and some other countries also you can remember of this region. And this is Iran. Why remember? Because they can ask you which of the following countries open to the Persian Gulf. So basically Qatar opens, UAE opens, Iran opens, so on and so forth. So geographical location map becomes really important for this particular region. Now, it is something, of course, what it is doing, connecting the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman. Yes, we can see that, Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman, and ultimately the Arabian Sea. Now, it lies between Iran in the north and Oman, UAE. Oman and UAE in the south, of course. Now, this is the importance. Around 20% of the trade or the global seaborne oil trade and LNG basically passes through this particular strait, as a result of which it is a lifeline for exports from which countries? Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, right? And of course for Iran as well, right? The article does not mention Iran, but it is for Iran as well, right? Now, why it matters for India? It matters for India because majority of our need for crude oil and the gas is imported. That is why it matters, right? Major source of India's crude oil imports is from this region, right? So critical sea lane for India's energy security. That is why it is important for India, right? Now, what is the geopolitical context over here? See, what has happened is, I'll explain you this, that the Strait of Hormuz was open. It's USA and Israel who attacked Iran. Now, then what happened is Iran responded with asymmetric war because it was less powerful. So it started basically pressurizing. How? It started closing the Strait of Hormuz, and it's closed the Strait of Hormuz. Then the war became about USA, Israel, or USA specifically trying to open the Strait of Hormuz, which was already open previously. And now USA has no, let's say, rights to intervene when it comes to asking someone to pay money to travel from the Strait of Hormuz. USA is somewhere else, Strait of Hormuz is somewhere else. So now what USA has done is put a blockade here, Strait of Hormuz, and it is saying that now I will charge you 20% of the fees to allow you to cross. So the same thing, you know what happens in basically there are goons who will come to a shop and threaten, and then they say, if you want to protect yourself, then pay some amount to me. So that is exactly what is USA is doing over here, right? So USA right now has announced a renewed blockade measures on Iranian ships, right? It has conducted strikes on coastal surveillance system, missile infrastructure, drone facilities. So USA is escalating all of this. What is Iran's position? Iran rejects external control over the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, why should there be an external control over there, right? Now imagine Iran comes near USA and says that I will control, if anyone passes I will charge. Does not make sense. So here also it does not make sense. It maintains that navigation and access cannot be dictated by outside power. See, in the manner wherein UAE said that this attack violates the international law, in the same manner USA's blockade also violates the international law, of course, right? Now this particular thing has also led to security concerns. Increased attacks on commercial shipping is happening. Insurance of the ships will increase, so price will further increase. Production facilities are hit, so prices are anyhow high. And when the ships are not allowed to pass or being attacked, then the energy security itself is at risk. Higher risk of regional military escalation, growing uncertainty in the Gulf. Marine security is of course also there. Plus this guy is saying that US will impose 20% charge on cargoes passing through the Hormuz. Now what's the implication on India? We have already seen energy security. This will lead to possible disruption of crude oil, thus harming our energy security. Maritime interest, the safety of the Indian seafarers, Indian vessel ships coming to India are all at stake over here, right? If you look at the foreign policy, we need to maintain balanced relation with Iran, Gulf countries, United States. We have to balance each them out, not side from one side completely. And economic impact, as I've mentioned, higher insurance premiums for the ships might be there. Now what about the international law? So the international law, okay, that is relevant here is UNCLOS, United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which gives people the freedom of navigation. So who is USA to impose 20% penalty? Protection of commercial vessels during peacetime. So if there is peacetime, commercial vessels are protected, so you cannot attack them. And maritime security challenges. What are these challenges? Missile and drone attacks, threats are there, attacking civilians, attacking the commercial ships. It's not a warfare ship going to attack someone. It's a commercial ship just transporting things, right? So you are attacking those commercial ships, is of course uncalled for. And what's the global response? Enhanced naval patrolling is happening by the world around. Maritime surveillance is happening the world around. People are now, the countries are more vigilant now, and diplomatic efforts are being taken to prevent wider regional conflicts. But USA, being so powerful on one side, is dictating any terms or condition that may come in the future. Thank you.